There are some really exciting books coming out in 2026, and there's honestly way too many for me to go through in a list, so I'm going to go through some of the ones I'm anticipating the most. Most of them are romance books. I gotta say 2026 does seem to be the year for romance. There's not a lot of major fantasy releases or fantasies series that I've read yet. I kind of took a little bit of a hiatus from a lot of the fantasy series coming out last year because I was burned by a couple too many romantasy series that just weren't my thing. That's okay. They have their moment. Like I said, 2026 I think is the year of romance. From the list of 2026 releases that I've seen that are announced, a lot of them are in the romance genre, and I am not even mad about it. I never used to be much of a romance reader until like the last couple years, and life just got too serious, so I wanted a silly goofy time. And a silly goofy time I had. The first book on my list that is coming out this year is called And Now Back to You by B.K. Borison. It is the sequel to First Time Caller, which is the Heartstrings series. I found this book very enjoyable. I read it by the pool, had a nice, fun, silly, goofy time, again, like I said. And Now Back to You comes out February 10th, so roughly 2 weeks away from when I'm filming this right now. It follows Jackson and Delilah, who are two competing meteorologists that are forced to partner together to cover the snowstorm of the century. And honestly, that alone would have made me read it, whether or not I'd read First Time Caller already, because I love a little bit of meteorology. I don't know, I find it very fascinating. I've never really like studied it majorly, but I love a good storm. I just a tornado movie, a disaster storm movie. I'm sad. So I will be sad for the snowstorm of the century. I feel like it's kind of fitting too with all the snow happening in America at the moment, America and Canada, I think major snowstorms. Not for Brisbane, Australia. It got to 40 degrees Celsius yesterday. It was hot yesterday. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. The second book that I am honestly probably anticipating the most, because I kind of didn't know about it until recently. I kind of only started looking into books that are coming out this year recently, because I hate having to wait for things. So if I don't know, then the anticipation can't grow, you know? And that is Love Song by Elle Kennedy. I don't own the physical copies of the Off Campus series, but I do have them on my iBook account because I read these back before there were physical copies available in Australia. I don't know when they came out, but think about when they came out and I read them then. So I think I was probably in university when I read these books, and I'm nearly 28, so a long time ago. The Briar U universe, incredible, incredible. Does it teach you anything about hockey? No. Do I sit down and enjoy it? Yes. Basically the Briar U off-campus series. So there's the off-campus series, another Briar U series, and now this is a standalone contemporary romance that follows the kids of Garrett Graham and John Logan from the original off-campus series. This is future Tay interrupting past Tay to let you know some breaking news information, because she had no idea what she was talking about. And I've done some research, and she should have done some research. She should have done her due diligence, but she didn't. And I'm here to set the record straight. Elle Kennedy has in fact released 3 books in the Briar U universe following the next generation of children. Now, the first book that came out was in 2023, and it was called The Graham Effect, and it follows, as you could probably guess it, Garrett Graham's daughter. Now, I took a trip to the bookstore the other day and I spent a lot of money buying some books. I was buying books that were not mentioned in this video, but are very high up on my TBR. I spent a lot of money, but I came across The Graham Effect. And I said, what the frick is that? Well, I have some books to read. So we have The Graham Effect that came out 2023, and then The Dixon Rule came out in 2024, and The Charlie Method came out in 2025. Now there are other standalones by Elle Kennedy, but I don't believe they have anything to do with the Briar U universe, the extended Briar U universe. Am I 100% certain of that? Apparently I've never been so uncertain in my life. However, I will be reading the 3 books that I just mentioned before I read about the siblings of Gigi Graham. So yeah, past me, she had no idea. I think I was unaware. I was caught slacking. Well, I did start my tattoo apprenticeship in 2022. 2023 is when I like really locked in on it. So yeah, I didn't do anything but tattoo and probably watch One Piece during that time. So I understand why past me didn't know about these books, but that doesn't mean that it's acceptable. And I'm going to right these wrongs as soon as possible because I just DNF'd a series and we're going to talk about it in a new video. I'll let you get back to past me. She's got stuff to say. So we have Blake Logan, John Logan's daughter, and we have Wyatt Graham, Garrett Graham's son. And they both end up at their family's lake house. I'm assuming they share a lake house. I don't know, the besties have been bestying since college. So they're sharing a lake house and both the kids end up there. And I think they, from what I've read, I kind of like don't like to really look into synopsises and stuff too much because I like to be surprised. But they seem to have like a little bit of a summer romance after, you know, both having a hard time with different aspects. And then tragedy strikes, which concerns me a little bit. I won't lie, a little bit concerned about that. And then they don't see each other until a later date, which that's sort of a trope. I love that. And I can't wait to see Logan and Garrett's children together. Wyatt Graham is a musician, takes after his mom. I don't know what Blake does. It only says that she is in college. So we'll see. I don't know. I'm very excited. Comes out March 17th too, by the way. I didn't say that. So I have some time to reread the entire Off-Campus series, and then of course after reading the Off-Campus series I will read the other Briar U books as well. Yeah, fantastic stuff. Very excited, very keen. Can't wait. The next book on my list that I'm very excited for is Harvest Season by Brynne Weaver. It is the sequel to Tourist Season, which is in the Chaos of Carnage series, trilogy maybe, I don't know. It comes out June 9th. And it is a continuation of Harper and Nolan's story. So unlike the Ruinous Love trilogy, which it's like a different couple each book, it seems to be like Brynne is following the same characters because we finish on a bit of a cliffhanger here. I actually listened to this on an audiobook. I did the whole Ruinous Love trilogy on audio and then did Tourist Season on audio as well. I had to buy the trophy for the shelf. It was fantastic. Especially as an audio. I really enjoyed it as an audio. It's kind of the same with the Ruinous Love trilogy. It's quite comedic, despite the fact that every single main character is a serial killer. I think it's fun, silly, goofy. She does a lot of weird stuff with eyes, Brynne Weaver. So if you ever feel queasy with gore and like eyeballs, maybe not the series for you, but I do highly recommend it. And I do highly recommend the audio because I genuinely would just be giggling while I would usually listen to it while drawing or I don't know, just doing crafty stuff, and I would just be sitting there laughing while working. So very excited. June 9th, Harvest Season. The next book that I am excited for is Daybreak by Autumn Woods. It is the sequel to Nightshade, which came out last year, and it was my most surprising read of 2025. I don't often download a Kindle Unlimited book and get surprised about how good it is, but this time I did. I genuinely really enjoyed it. It's a dark academia mystery sort of book. Almost has that like almost gothic vibe to it. Set in England at Sorrow University. The series is the Sorrow University series duology. I don't know if there's more than the 2 books coming out. It feels like a duology to me. I will look it up and I'll say whether or not it's a duology somewhere on the screen. It comes out in the US on July 28th and it comes out in the UK on July 30th. Don't know what that means for Australia. I'm assuming it will go on the Kindle Unlimited store or Kindle store and it will come out in Australia on the 28th like it does in America, but who knows? I actually have no idea. The next 3 books that I'm anticipating this year are books that I haven't read the first one of yet. So bear with me because they're very high on my TBR list. Very high. I've actually started 2 of them and then again stopped because sometimes you just need to read a book about people falling in love and then go about your day. Last year was a tough year for me. Sue me, look me up. We'll get back onto the fantasy grind this year. But in saying that, to start off, the book that I know that no matter what happens with the first one, I'm gonna love, and I'm very highly anticipating, the second book is The Knave and the Moon by Rachel Gillig. The first book is called The Night and the Moth. It is the Stonewater Kingdom duology. Second book, it comes out September 1st. I am up to here. You're probably thinking, Tay, if you were loving this book, how could you have put it down? And what did you read instead? I don't think I read anything. I think I went like 2 months. I put it down, spiraled, and didn't do anything except work and like try and survive. This book is incredible and I love it. I put it down. This is very much on my you girly pop, you've got to read her like ASAP. And I will get there. Sue me, I'm sorry, but September 1st, I will be there with bells on because I will have read this before then. It's kind of nice, like knowing that if I had already read this, then I have so long to wait until September 1st, you know? But I haven't read it yet. So September 1st is like, yeah, we've got time. Don't ask me how my brain works. But yeah, anyway, I love Rachel Gillig. We love a gothic fantasy. The way Rachel Gillig writes is phenomenal. 0 notes. She's perfect. The next one. You're probably thinking, wow, why is she displayed so prominently if you haven't read it yet? I just like the cover. Again, started reading it. You can see from my little sticky note because I ran out of bookmarks. Started reading it, really enjoying it. Put it down, didn't pick it back up. Me and Fantasy had a long break last year. We had a hiatus, if you will. And when I did read fantasy books, there were a couple that I did read last year that were severely disappointing and I did not enjoy them. Or I liked the first one and like the second one was terrible. Or like, you know, you go to read one and it's just like the worst thing you could possibly ever read and you're like, well, at least when I know I'm reading a shitty romance, I'm reading a shitty romance, you know? Like fantasy, I love my fantasy. I have high expectations for fantasy and I don't want a shitty romance out of it. Sue me. That's the thing about books is we all interpret them differently. And I'm sure if I was to read one book at the beginning of the year and the same book at the end of the year, I will have interpreted it, experienced it differently to how I experienced it back when I first read it because of what I was going through at the time of reading it. That's just, I know what I am, I'm a mood reader. The sequel is called A Ballad of Falling Dragons. It is the Moonfall series by Sarah A. Parker. And it comes out May 19th. So I have some time. We've got a couple, like a month and a half to read it. Plenty of time, plenty of time. I've got time. The next book that is coming out that I haven't read the first one of, but I am anticipating the sequel purely because I'm anticipating reading the first one, is Light Wielder by Rachel Schneider. The first book is Metal Slinger. We'll get to it. The US version comes out June 9th. The UK version comes out June 11th. Don't know what that means for Australia. Apparently there's a crazy cliffhanger in this one. At least I don't have to wait as long. Or is it cliffhanger or a plot twist? I don't know. I can't remember if someone said plays a crazy plot twist, crazy cliffhanger. Maybe it's both. Who knows? I actually couldn't tell you what it's about right now. I think someone told me and I said, yeah, I'll read that. Don't remember. And I don't want to know because I like to go in with zero expectations and only vibes. And I like the cover. Feels like watery. I don't know. Piratey? I looked at the back and I only saw the word passage. The series is called the Fire and Metal series. So I'll let you know when I read it and if it's worth it. So that is all the books on my list of anticipated reads. There are a lot more books coming out this year that I will read, but I'm not anticipating them, if that makes sense. So there's a lot of books by authors that I read last year that I didn't enjoy, and maybe I'll read the new stuff, maybe I won't. We'll see. May we read good books in 2026. We kind of deserve it. It's rough out there right now. It's real rough out there. Sometimes you just want to read something silly goofy to get through the hard times, and sometimes you want to read an epic fantasy that is going through crazy political climates and, you know, all these different things. And sometimes you don't read at all. Thank you for watching this video if you've come this far. It's my first video and it's quite frightening to put yourself out there, so be kind to me, please. But this is what we're doing now. This is so much fun. I do like to yap. If you want to follow me on Instagram, my Instagram is my tattooing Instagram because I'm a tattoo artist. If you are unaware, it is tay.inks. I currently don't have an Instagram separate for YouTube book stuff. I'll probably just combine it all. I like books. I like movies, I like manifestation, I like tattooing, and I like my dog. And that is what I post on there. But if you want to see more from me, like and subscribe. If you don't want to see more from me, I can promise it will only go up from here. It will only get better from here. Let me know what books you're anticipating. If you have any agreements or disagreements with the books that I listed, let me know, because I'm always happy to add to my growing TBR list. There's probably like 20 books on the bookshelf behind me that are on my TBR list that I will maybe get to eventually. Bye bye. Harvey says goodbye as well. You say goodbye.